What's up, my good people, and welcome back in to the Bully Ball Show on Sparks TV. As always, I'm your host, Nino Sparks, aka the Mid Range Bully. Now, got a good show for you today. Quick vid, not gonna take up too much of your time. Figure we get right back into it, right? One more trade proposal, more trade talk, as December 15th is now around the corner when players that, signed during free agency will become available. So that means guys like Jonas Valanciunas, a guy that we've known has been linked to the Lakers basically all season. So we'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens with Brandon Ingram. Will it be Zach Levine? Who will it be? Will it be Walker Kessler? We're hearing a lot of names, and we're gonna break it all down like a fraction as always. But before we get started, excuse me, let me get it together. Before we get started, as always, if it's your first time tapping in, or maybe you tapped in before, go ahead, tap that like, tap that subscribe, tap that notification bell so you can stay tapped in. Let's get this shit. Okay, so Valanciunas. Let's start with Valanciunas. I like Valanciunas. I like the idea of him being on the Lakers just so AD can have what he wants. He can have that extra big, you know what I'm saying? Pause. He can have the extra center out there playing alongside of him. That's where he feels, the most comfortable. That way, he's not the last line of defense. As always, when guys get beat, he's not. He doesn't have to guard his guy and the guy crashing the paint. You can have a Valanciunas for things like that. You can have a Valanciunas to go up against these other big dudes like like a Jokic on the wide blank there. Jokic, Nurkic, who else? Embiid. These other centers that AD doesn't really want. He doesn't really care to be banged up against all game. Which is understandable. And we won a championship with him playing at the four. Let's just keep it real. You know, but he also is putting up MVP numbers at the center position. So any center you bring in is still going to have to probably come off the bench. And Valanciunas, the one knock that I've had against him is that he gets played off of the court. It's a reason he's on the Wizards and possibly being shopped because it is what it is. Today's game, a guy like him, he's good for what he does, but when it comes down to crunch time, AD is still going to be playing the center position. So I don't want everybody to get their hopes up and everybody to keep putting all their eggs in one basket, which is the center. Oh, we need another big bruiser in the middle or blah blah blah. We need perimeter defense. We need guys that can get around the screen, for crying out loud. We need guys that are not going to get beat on the first step. Basically, we need athletic wings if we can find it. They don't just grow on trees in the NBA. So, Brandon Ingram. If the trade is Brandon Ingram, well, first let's go with Zach Levine because I don't think the Lakers are going to grab Zach Levine. Let's just get that off the table. Zach Levine is making $43 million. That is a lot of money. I don't be getting it dude's pockets, but that is a lot of money. You know, for the Lakers to take on just for one guy. And if you add him and you're trying to add Valanciunas, that's 50 something. I don't know if the Lakers can pull that off. They'll have to get rid of damn near half the team. So I do think that Zach Levine still ends up a Laker, but I think he does it next season as a free agent. And he's with Clutch, so it makes sense. It's probably going to happen that way. And it makes sense for it to happen that way. Just, you don't got to go nowhere this season. Play out your contract. Hell, I think the Bulls are better than some people might have thought. He's been playing well, continue to play well, and then roll in as a free agent. Now, Brandon Ingram, who also just became a Clutch agent, or a Clutch client, he is probably the most likely to become a Laker. Now, the only thing with Brandon Ingram, like I said before, it can't just be Brandon Ingram. Because as good as Brandon Ingram is, sometimes, and maybe this is just on the Pelicans, but sometimes his points do not affect the game. Sometimes he gets his points and the Pelicans still lose by a large margin. Now in the Lakers, I think that might be different because all the Lakers need is another guy who can go get you some points. And that's what Brandon Ingram does. And he can do that on a consistent basis. Now the other thing is his health. We already got guys that can't stay healthy. So to add another guy to the mix that be missing games, especially if the future is going to be him and Anthony Davis, that part is concerning. So my proposal would be Brandon Ingram plus Herb Jones in exchange for D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura. Straight up, no picks. Now, if you're the Pelicans, if I'm going to throw Herb Jones in there, I want the house. So if you're not going to give me Max Christie, I for sure want that 2026 pick. Because they already got our pick this season. They could have had Dalton Connect, but they gave that up for this coming up draft. Because they believe there's probably even a better player than that in this year's draft. So hell, if you the Lakers, if you got to use the 2026 pick to sweeten the pie, like, hey, we'll throw that in, and now you got our pick for the next 2 seasons. You make that deal. Now, why give up Austin Reeves? Most people don't want to give up Austin Reeves. The sad fact is Dalton Connect has played better. Austin Reeves might be averaging better, more points, but Dalton Connect, if you've been watching the games, Dalton Connect's played better. He seems to play better with this team. And moving forward, if you had to decide which player has more upside, I think you would lean with Dalton Connect. I think at this point we know what Austin Reeves is. He's going to be a good role player. He's got the same issues that I see with D'Angelo Russell, where it's like you can be a starter on a team that's rebuilding or a team that's, building, or you can be a reserve on a team with championship aspirations. Look at Peyton Pritchard. Would you rather have Peyton Pritchard or Austin Reeves at this point? Let's keep it G. I like Austin Reeves, but let's keep it real. I would rather have Peyton Pritchard, and he's coming off the bench. He could start on the Lakers. Reeves coming off the bench at Boston, that'd be good. Reeves starting on Boston, come on. If we're trying to get to that level, if that's really what we're trying to do, if the conversation is we're trying to win a championship, not next year, this season, then it's time to shake shit up. We've seen what you look like next to LeBron. Everything goes through that. We've seen what you look like next to LeBron and AD. And in the few seasons, it hasn't materialized to that much. Not to what we want, which is a championship. And like I said, he can be a reserve on a championship team. But is that what he wants? He wants to start. You can start on the Pelicans, a team that's building. Him and DeJounte Murray wouldn't be a bad backcourt because DeJounte Murray can play defense. Him and D'Angelo Russell, neither one of them guys can play defense. I'm not saying they're not trying, but I watch the games. You guys watch the games too. What do you see? You see them getting cooked on defense. You see them getting outran on defense. Austin Reeves got nutsacked by Jalen Johnson last season, dunked on him. We've seen it. So that's why he will be in the trade. And you got to make the money work. Brandon Ingram making $36 million. Well, Herb Jones, he's making 12 million. So how do you get to 48? D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, and Austin Reeves. That'll get you to 48. Straight up, that's not a bad trade. Now, if I'm the Pelicans, like I said, I want at least 1 or 2 picks. And if you're the Lakers, shit, you might have to throw in that 2026 pick. Because what is that going to give you? Now you got a lineup that puts LeBron back at the point. You got Herb Jones as your 2 guard. That's going to be your point of attack on defense. That's going to be the guy chasing down Ja, chasing down Steph, Kyrie, Ant-Man. You got Brandon Ingram at the 3. You got AD at the 4. And you got Valanciunas at the 5. Now, let's say you want to still play AD at the 5. Now you slide a Max Christie into that, or you slide a Dalton Connect into that mix. Hell, when Vando gets healthy, him and Herb Jones, I wouldn't start them together, but at some point, having them both out there is your defense. They'll lock shit up. Now, you'll be depleted as far as having a point guard. You probably have to call up Quincy Oliveira. JJ's only going to play 9 guys anyway, but you want to have at least that. But that'll get it done. In my opinion, that gets it done. That's a championship team. But that's all I got for free. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Brandon Ingram and Herb Jones in exchange for D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, and Austin Reeves. Probably have to throw in that 2026 pick. And then you go get a Valanciunas in exchange for a Gabe Vincent. And you'll probably have to throw in JHS, because if I'm not mistaken, the Lakers, they got to send out more than they take back. So they'll probably have to include a Maxwell Lewis in the Pelicans trade, and then a JHS and a Gabe Vincent in exchange for a Valanciunas. But that's a championship roster right there. Valanciunas, AD, Brandon Ingram, Herb Jones, and LeBron. You'll still have Max Christie and Dalton Connect to come off your bench. Christian Wood and Vando, if they can get healthy. But now you don't have to bank on that, because you got a guy that can defend at a high level. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Is that too much to ask on the Pelicans end? Are they getting enough? Because D'Angelo Russell, he'll come up off the Bucks. I like the idea of moving forward DeJounte Murray and Austin Reeves backcourt with a Trey Murphy out there, Zion, and then you go find you a big. Moving forward, that could be something. But Lake Show, they got to make a move, and they got to do it fast. You can't think that you're going to take this thing and drag it all the way to the trade deadline. By that time, we might not even be in the mix for the play-in. And you're squandering what little bit LeBron has left. The only way they don't make a trade, I'll finish like this. The only way they do not make a trade is if Rob Pelinka doesn't believe LeBron can win another championship. If they don't make a trade, no significant move, they might do some bullshit around the edges. But if they don't go get another star player, then it's official. He does not believe LeBron can win another championship, and he's going to let him ride it out. Ride that contract out. Next year will be your ceremonial. You get a standing ovation in every. That'll be it. If he doesn't make a move, that's what's going on. I think they'll make a move. I think because Rob Lincoln, he's either gonna come out of this looking like a genius, an evil genius, who had it all figured out and played everybody for a fool, or he's gonna come out the other end looking like an idiot. Like he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And he just wasted an MVP season in Anthony Davis and wasted the last of LeBron's little prime. But y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm gonna tap back in later. Peace.